Meters are on every home, apartment, and business here in the Valley. They measure the amount of electricity you use and determine how much you will pay.
But meters that require a meter reader are vanishing. Newer smart meters transmit information directly to the power companies. It's a cost-cutting move, but it's also the question, is it costing people their health?
One day I was sitting in my living room and I started getting this intense chest pains.
Rita Field lives in Prescott. The apartment she shares with her dog is only 10 feet away from this wall of APS electrical meters.
My neighbor said, I bet you're affected by those smart meters. And I said, smart meters? What's that?
Smart meters are wireless devices that use technology similar to a cell phone.
The new meter is exactly like the old one. The difference is the new meter has communications equipment in there that will communicate to APS of hourly usage.
We watched as an APS worker installed a smart meter. It took about 2 minutes. Salt River Project has installed 803,000 of them through May 1st, while APS is over 800,000 installations statewide.
It's become rather routine, and we've been doing this every day.
Damon Gross from APS says the meters also provide information to customers online.
Now, customers have access to their usage information at various intervals throughout the day.
And he says the meters pose no health risk at all, mostly because unlike cell phones, people don't hold smart meters next to their heads.
The radio in the meter has about 1/1000th of the radio frequency level of the smartphone. It's a 900 megahertz radio, which is the equivalent of a baby monitor. These meters are very safe, and you know, they provide a lot of benefits to our customers.
This side is actually showing that smart meters are being firing right now.
Like Rita Field in Prescott, Cindy Dubach says she is electromagnetically sensitive. More on that in a minute. Dubach claims she was perfectly healthy until smart meters started popping up in her Scottsdale neighborhood.
I didn't have headaches, didn't have heart problems, didn't have insomnia.
Dubach has a background in alternative health care and used to run a health food store. At first, she didn't know what was happening to her.
I almost had a massive heart attack, and I don't have any heart problems.
She purchased an acoustimeter to measure electromagnetic fields, the same thing electricians use to find electrical lines behind the walls of your home.
This side is actually showing that smart meters are being firing right now.
When APS arrived to install a smart meter in her home, Cindy pulled out her device.
Their eyes were as big as plates. They couldn't believe what they saw.
She showed us how her device reacts when held near a neighbor's smart meter.
I told them to remove it immediately.
Smart meters, along with cellular phones, microwave ovens, and other electronic devices, produce electromagnetic or radio frequency fields. The invisible waves of magnetic fields generated by every electrical device has been studied for years. Cell phones, cell phone towers, and power lines have been linked in some studies to possible health problems.
It's an excess.
Those people who feel their effects are called electromagnetically sensitive. But what about smart meters?
What I can tell you with confidence is that if there is a risk, it is extremely low.
Dr. Ken Mossman is an ASU professor of health physics. He tells us there is no evidence that radio frequency waves from smart meters pose any health risk. But he doesn't rule it out either.
I respect people who tell me that they have these sensitivities, that they're reacting in a way that's different than other people, but there is no medical explanation for why this sensitivity occurs. In fact, it's so low that you can't measure it with any confidence, and it's essentially a risk that is theoretical.
The smart meter issue surfaced really only about a year ago.
Dr. David Carpenter is a public safety expert from the University at Albany. He is often quoted by those opposed to the use of smart meters. We talked to him online via Skype.
There is at least the possibility of elevated exposure to radio frequency fields, which, in my judgment, are likely to increase the risk of several diseases.
He worries that radio transmissions from smart meters are just the latest of a long line of devices that have a cumulative impact on our health.
Those of us that are concerned about the smart meters feel that we are, as a society, adding to our exposure to radio frequency fields at just an exponential rate.
And Carpenter believes there's growing scientific evidence that these radio frequency waves, like those broadcast by cell phones and smart meters, are dangerous.
These people that complain of the headaches, the memory loss and those kinds of symptoms are not just psychotic people, but are really suffering from hypersensitivity to radio frequency fields. And in my judgment, the evidence that they do constitute a hazard is now grown enormously, and I see it as being very convincing.
I was nervous a lot and I couldn't sleep.
Lonnie Rainzer lives in Mesa. She first noticed health issues when cell phone towers near her switched to the 4G smartphone receivers.
I had numerous cell phone antennas around my house, and they actually had direct radius into my home.
Got even worse for her when a smart meter was installed by SRP.
I started having tightness in my chest and severe pain in my gut, just intolerable pain.
She asked the utility company to remove it.
They don't think that there's anything wrong with the smart meters, but you know, they were fine with taking it off.
Both APS and SRP tell us they will remove smart meters when asked. But if smart meters pose no health risk at all, then why remove them?
Our job is to respond to our customers' needs. And if they express a desire for whatever reason that they don't want this on their home, then it's our job to see if we can find a plan that accommodates that.
I was having headaches, chest pain.
Rita Field asked APS to remove the smart meters on this wall. But since she was not the property owner, her initial requests were denied. So she wrote a letter to the mayor of Prescott.
When the mayor intervened, all of a sudden APS did a 180 and said, oh, we're going to take these all off for you and we're going to put in non-transmitting meters.
So for now, the smart meters are gone. And Rita Field hopes it stays that way.
If they're safe and they're tested, I wouldn't be hurting, and neither would a lot of other people who are also having the same things if they were safe.
Now, removing a smart meter may lead to higher costs for homeowners. APS says they will request rate hikes for those customers who still need a meter reader to come out to their home.